What kind of bachelor is Peter this season? How would you describe him?
I'd probably say, to put it in reference, a Ben Higgins type, where very emotional, very sincere, a wonderful guy, going to be a fan favorite. Like there's nothing not to like about Peter, kind of like with Ben. But like Ben, really compartmentalizes these relationships and has a tough time figuring out his type and where he wants to go, and that can kind of lead to some issues, as it did for Ben down the road.
The past 2 seasons have teased huge moments like Colton's fence jump and obviously Hannah's windmill. Are there any moments like that this season?
There are, but in a less tangible way, like not in a building type of place like a windmill or a fence, but more of in an emotional way in what is going to come and how this thing comes to a head. And I think you got a taste of it with a little bit of a snippet of a talk he and I had that was a little contentious. And there's a time when the hat I have to wear is tough love, of kind of being the elder statesman of, hey, like, enough, we got to take some steps here. I don't want to give too much away, but there's an emotional kind of point where this comes to, and I think that's what this season will really be known for.
He has a full-time career as a pilot. How did that affect things this season?
It was probably more difficult for him. It wasn't difficult for us. He had to get the time off because he loves what he does. He did not leave his job. In fact, he's already back, in the cockpit flying, and he's happy as can be, because I was with him a couple days ago. And, he's like, to be back flying again and doing what he loves, that's his passion. It was probably difficult for him just to maneuver and figure out a way to keep that job but also be the Bachelor. And it's something that he's ready to get back to. And, I don't think he's the guy that's going to be, jumping into our chair and being a host anytime soon. He wants to fly. That's his love.
Coming from Sean Lowe, who was, the virgin bachelor, to where we are now with the windmill, the conversation on the show about sex has really changed. How does that affect this season?
I think we're just a microcosm of what's going on in society, in that things change, the conversation changes, and the dialogue changes, and the way people speak changes, as it should. And I think we're just, mirroring what's happening. And so people are just more open, more honest, and the conversation about sex and about that double standard about where women fit in that cute little box. That box is broken now. It's been blown apart. And so the rules have changed. And I love the fact that we wrap our arms around that. Instead of trying to hold on to those old stereotypes, we roll with it. And I think the show has become more organic, more real. And I think that's what you relate to. What Bachelor Nation relates to is like, yeah, this is how we talk. This is how we date. This is the stuff I really deal with. These are the issues that you have to worry about, and safety and security, and all these things that we're kind of wrapping our arms around are things that are really happening. And I think I'm really proud of the fact that we lean into it instead of shying away from it.
Did it change Peter's point of view of the fantasy suites this time around?
No, nothing. I mean, that's the great thing, is all that stuff has to do with you as a person. Hannah is not going to treat it like Peter does, and Peter's not going to treat it like Colton did. They have their own background, their own history, their own way of life, and their own way of loving, and they're going to lean into it their own way. But that's one of the things I love about the show, is every season for me as a host and as a producer is completely different. I can't treat Peter like I did Colton. They are different human beings, and they are going about this very different ways, and that's what you really have to lean into and understand, that this is his journey. And I know that's cliche to say, but his road is going to be very different than anybody else's.